Hello students, welcome to this lecture on reactive power control by using transformer and fact devices. In the earlier lecture already we have discussed one method of reactive power control, that is nothing but control by using the reactive powers injection. The next two methods are reactive powers control by using transformer and fact. So our main focus in this lecture will be on second and third method of controlling the reactive power. Okay, so let us see. For controlling the voltage using transformer, we are going to use the special type of transformers. The first transformer under consideration here is nothing but a tap changing transformer. So with the flexibility of transformer, it provides an efficient way to control the voltage. The tap changing transformer provides a means of voltage control by changing the turns ratio. The tap changing transformer is usually connected on the HP winding, which we can see that on this secondary side it will be a HP winding. So now in this figure we can see that on the secondary side the secondary winding is divided into various parts, and we have shown the tap positions as tap number 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. To this switch or to this arm we are calling as a movable arm. Now when the movable arm makes a contact with the lower position such as 1 or 2, the secondary voltage is kept minimum. When the movable arm contact with the higher position such as 5, then the secondary side voltage is maintained maximum. Tap changing transformers are of two types. First one is off-load tap changer and second type is on-load tap changer. Off-load tap changer means whenever we want to change the tap position here, from it may be from 1 to 2 or 2 to 3 or any other position. Whenever we want to change the tap position, first we have to turn this transformer off or we have to isolate it, then we can change the tap position and once again we can bring this transformer into the line. Then using the on-load tap changing transformer, we need not put this transformer out of the line. Okay, so whenever it is online or whenever it is added in the transmission line, at that time only we can change the tap positions. So normally this on-load tap changing transformer will be used. Now for on-load tap changing transformer, it may have around 8 steps or 8 tap positions, and in every tap position the voltage can be changed in terms of percentage of nominal voltage. That means if we have kept the tap position 2, if we have selected, it may be 2% of the hike in the nominal voltage, and so on. If it is tap number 3, it may be 4% hike in the nominal voltage, and so on. Okay, so here we have shown that this tap changing facility is there only on the secondary side, and as I mentioned, this secondary side will be HT side. We can also have the tap changing transformer where both on secondary as well as primary side we can have the facility of tap changing, and such tap changing transformers we will be using at both the ends of transmission. Now let us see what are the advantages of this tap changing transformer. Whenever there is a high load condition, normally we face the problem of reduction in the voltage or drop in the voltage. In such cases, okay, the tap position will be always kept at the highest tap, and hence we can minimize the reactive power requirement, and it also helps to increase the effectiveness of shunt capacitors to compensate the reactive power. During the low load condition, it is usually required to lower the network voltages and to avoid the under-excited operation of the generator. Now let us see the second type of special transformer used for controlling the voltage magnitude. It is called as a booster transformer. So at times it may be necessary or desirable to increase or decrease the voltage at an intermediate point in the line rather than at the ends. In such cases, a separate transformer is used to boost or buck the voltage of the main transformer. This is done by injecting a voltage in series with a line through a transformer. The main transformer need not have the taps. Figure here shows the possible arrangement of the booster transformer, and as we can see in the figure, the booster's primary, this is a booster transformer, this is one winding, this is another winding, rather this is the primary winding and this is secondary winding. So here we can see that booster primary is fed from a regulating transformer. The power rating of this booster transformer will be some percentage of power of this main transformer. So in this figure, one more thing we can note is this is a main transformer and transformer secondary feeder is connected, and suppose on this feeder, this is a feeder and this is the load end. Okay, so in between two ends we have added this booster transformer. Okay, so this Vs we can say that it is the secondary voltage of the main transformer, and to the secondary voltage of main transformer we are adding the booster voltage, so we can call that as Vb. Vs plus Vb, both these phasors are added and the resultant phasor we can see that it is Vf, okay, which is the voltage required at the load. So like this, using booster transformer, okay, so in between the transmission line we can have boost in the voltage and we can meet the requirement of this load. By connecting the relays in the appropriate position, even we can isolate this booster transformer whenever it is not required. The next special type of transformer used for controlling the voltage magnitude is phase shifting transformer. Okay, so this phase shifting transformers are used to control the phase angle across the transformer. They are also called as phase angle regulators or quadrature booster transformers. Here we can see this figure. Okay, so this L1, L2 and L3 shows the three transmission lines, and in this transmission line we can add this particular phase shifting transformer here. Okay, so phase shifting transformers primary, it will be in one line, and the secondary, okay, we will have the secondary over here. So like this, in all the three lines we can see that the one winding of this phase shifting transformer is connected in line, and other end of this series transformer, okay, the other winding of each of this series transformer is connected to this shunt transformer. So by using this series transformer we can change the phase angle of the voltage in line 1. Okay, so at L1 dash, whatever voltage we obtain, its angle delta will be changed. And why we are doing this? Because since the power flow through the transformer depends upon the phase angle, okay, this allows the transformer to regulate the power flow through the transformer. So whenever we are able to change the angle delta of the voltage, okay, we can have the control over real power flow as well as reactive power flow, and if we can control the reactive power, we can also control the voltage magnitude. Therefore this phase shifting transformer plays an important role in controlling the voltage magnitude. So this is all about the second method of voltage controlling, that is nothing but using the different types of transformers. Now let us see the third method of controlling the voltage, that is nothing but using the FACT devices. So now using FACT devices also we can have the control over the voltage in a power system. So in the FACTS devices, FACTS mainly stands for flexible AC transmission devices or compensators we can call. So in the FACT devices mainly we are going to consider upon the static VAR compensators and STATCOMs. Okay, so first we have shown here the figure of static VAR compensator. Okay, so static VAR compensator, static VAR is nothing, VAR stands for volt ampere reactive, which is nothing but Q. It is called as a reactive power. So with the help of this static VAR compensator, mainly we are going to have the control once again on the reactive powers injection. So here we can see that the transmission line is connected at this end, and these devices whatever we have connected, all these are connected in parallel with the transmission line, where actually we want to have the control over the voltage. So now here you can see two types of devices. First one is a inductor and second one is a capacitor. So this inductor is controlled by these two thyristors, and this capacitor is also controlled by these two thyristors. So mainly the function of these thyristors here is to have the control upon the phase angle. Okay, and these inductor and capacitor, they are known for injecting the reactive power. Earlier also we have discussed that whenever the circuit is capacitive or capacitor, mainly it injects the reactive power Q into the circuit. Inductor mainly absorbs the excess reactive power from the circuit. Okay, so now we are going to use this inductor and capacitor in parallel with the transmission line, where we want to have control over voltage by having the control over them using these thyristor banks. Okay, so this assembly itself is called as a static VAR compensator. So now if there is a low voltage at this transmission line, okay, that means the actual voltage on the transmission line is less than the nominal voltage. In that case we need to boost the voltage, and for boosting the voltage we need to add this capacitor into the circuit. So here you can see the switch. Okay, so using this switch we can add this capacitor into the circuit, and by adding the capacitor into the circuit, or this thyristor controlled capacitor into the circuit, we are able to boost the voltage, and that is why we can maintain the transmission line's voltage to the nominal value. In opposite case, that means suppose we are facing the problem of low load, and in that case the voltage at the transmission line suddenly increases. So voltage increases means there is excessive reactive power, and we should have some device which can consume this excessive reactive power generated in the transmission line. In that case, using this switch we can add this inductor into the circuit, or we can add this particular inductor controlled by the thyristors into the circuit. And we know that inductors are acting like absorber of reactive power, and these inductors absorb the excessive reactive power, and by that the voltage also comes down, the magnitude of voltage falls at the line, and we are able to maintain the voltage at the transmission line to the nominal value. So using this static VAR compensator we are able to control the nominal voltage at the transmission line. So here are these points which we just now discussed with the figure in the previous slide. Now let us see what are the advantages and disadvantages of this static VAR. The advantages are they are more reliable, they are faster in operation, smoother control, and more flexibility can be provided with the help of thyristors. The disadvantages are need a transformer steps the transmission voltage down to much lower level, the size and number of compensator, and it is also more expensive as compared to the shunt capacitors. Now let us see the next fact device used for controlling the voltage, that is nothing but STATCOM. So this STATCOM word is derived from the words static compensator. Okay, so stat and this com, it is STATCOM. It is nothing but static compensator. So the devices use the synchronous voltage source for generating or absorbing the reactive power. Okay, so in this particular STATCOM, what all devices we are going to use, they will be able to generate or absorb the reactive power. The synchronous voltage source is constructed using a voltage source converter, and this voltage source converter is also one of the main part of this STATCOM. The STATCOM usually contains a synchronous voltage source that is driven from a DC storage capacitor, and the SVC is connected to the AC system bus through an interface transformer. The transformer steps the AC system voltage down. This is the figure where we have shown how the STATCOM can be connected into the line or in our power system. So now this STATCOM can be operated in two different modes. When the feeder voltage, or here we can see that this assembly we are going to call as a STATCOM, static synchronous compensator, and this static synchronous compensator, with the help of a transformer, we are going to connect to the bus, or we are going to connect it into the power system where actually we want to have the control over voltage magnitude. So at this HT bus where we are going to connect this STATCOM, so suppose here there is a fall in voltage, okay, or the voltage here is less than the nominal voltage. So in this case, okay, by this STATCOM is going to generate the reactive power, and due to that generated reactive power, it is going to boost the voltage at this bus, and it acts in a one more mode, that is nothing but whenever we face the problem of over voltage in case of low load condition, whenever we face the problem of over voltage here, at that time this STATCOM will be able to absorb the excessive reactive power. Whenever the excessive reactive power is absorbed by the STATCOM, we can have the reduction in the excessive voltage at the power system, and we can bring down the voltage to the nominal value. Okay, so this is how the FACTS devices are used for controlling the reactive power and voltage magnitude in the power system.